Hello, and welcome again to today's Conversations on Leadership powered by Life University. I am your host, Dr. Gilles LaMarche. And you know, as I always start every podcast, I start with a quote of the week, because I always find that the quote is going to relate directly to the guest that we have. And I think this quote fits perfectly for today's guest. Gandhi once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others." And this gentleman I've known for a couple of years, but better maybe for the last 6 months or so. And I can tell you that he is truly a servant leader. His name is John Loud, and he is the founder and president of Loud Security Systems, located in Kennesaw, Georgia, employing over 60 people, serving over 10,000 customers across 30 states. Under John's direction and leadership, the company has grown to be one of the top 100 security companies in the United States, and has received numerous awards both on the local and national stages. Loud has been actively involved with the Cobb Chamber of Commerce since 2009, serving on its board of directors, and has successfully led many initiatives of the Chamber. John is currently serving as the 2020 chairman of the Cobb Chamber, where he'll further champion important initiatives for Cobb County and the business community. John, I am so excited to have you on. I always love the energy that you bring, and I would tell you that from the stage, you are by far one of my favorite people, because you just show up on a stage no matter where you are. You never have any notes. You don't have a teleprompter, but you speak from here, and you always deliver really, really powerful. So thanks so much for accepting to be on our podcast today.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and thank you so much for the kind words. And it's like when you've got that servant passion to be able to help or share or interact with others, it's innately inside of me. So I'm not a very good script reader, so that's a tough part for me. But when there's different topics, points, issues, challenges going on in our community, whether it's opportunities that are going to be great or it's going to be a challenge and tough, to be able to pull some folks together. But that's kind of deep inside there. But honor to be with you today, sir.
Well, thank you. And you're fabulous at it. So let's get right to it, because, we have listeners of different levels of leadership. Some are young leaders, some are aspiring leaders, some are leaders who are, have been in leadership roles for a long time. So let's get into a few practical questions so that you could really help the people listening in. The first question I have for you is, how do you encourage creative thinking within your organization, like Loud Security, the business that you run every single day? How do you encourage that?
Great question. And I almost want to back up in a way. Look, Loud Security has been around 25 years this year. We'll celebrate in June our 25th anniversary. And I started the business from scratch. I had never worked for an alarm company, never had an alarm system. I was a flight attendant with Delta Airlines for 6 years, certainly understood a lot about customer care and customer service. But as you get in and start a business and you're not an entrepreneur, which I didn't even realize I was until many years later that I'm even an entrepreneur, which I later started to define on my own to be that an entrepreneur is someone determination outpaces fear. So in that determination and that will of inside of you to be able to say, I'm going to succeed, or I'm going to accomplish, or I'm going to achieve something, whether it's putting a customer care things together, I'm going to have that drive internally to be able to go make that happen. So it's unique. And this is one of those challenges with so many businesses as they grow. Some of the tough parts as you grow within that business, how do you then develop that culture, develop that team to support others along the way, to let them rise? I mean, my company today with 60 plus employees. Look, I've got my comptroller, Diane's been with me for about 16, 17 years. Eric, my general manager, has been about 17, 18 years. My operations manager came through the field. Brad's been here close to 15 years. So some of that is to listen, cultivate. We've got management meetings that we do on a weekly basis. So we'll kind of get in and, I think I'm funny, so bear with me with some of my jokes at times. We'll get in and we'll kind of do with some planning. And usually, sometimes I'll let them, outvote me, and we'll go their way, and I'll prove to them later they were wrong. No, not really, not at all. But I'm very much of a laissez-faire type manager. And what I've done is, as we're bringing ideas to the table, I don't have all the right ideas. I've got some amazing people around me. But some business owners along the way struggle because they created and cultivated this baby, and they're not going to allow others to be able to rise and seek that input. One last thing, and I'll throw it back to you, is that, for me, in the growing from a flight attendant to a business owner development along the way, you've heard me share along the way, is it's a lot about R&D. And that's what today's talks about too. It's the R&D, not necessarily research and development, but it's rip off and duplicate. What are some of those best practices of the people that you've brought to interview that folks out there that are listening or watching can pick up different little nuggets to go, you know what, I got to try that in my corporate culture. I got to try that in my managerial role or my environment where I'm volunteering, whatever that is. And then you come back with that practice, see if it can morph for your community or your environment, whatever that may be. And for us as a company, that's what I've done. So by getting many others' guidance along the way has helped me cultivate and lead within my team, but it's seeking that input all the time and us kind of culling or cultivating around that to see what can really work. And I'm sure later I can share plenty of failures along the way that didn't work for us, but that's part of growing a business for 25 years also.
And what I'm hearing you say is that great leaders surround themselves with great people. When you gave the names of people that have been with you for 15, 16, 17 years, you've surrounded yourself with fantastic people, and that has allowed your company to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not easy. I mean, you go through some along the way, but to get folks that, that's some of the toughest part of growing any business, getting that right piece of the play. And you've heard, get the right seat, the right person on the bus in the right seat.
Exactly. So, you talked about your regular management meetings on a weekly basis. Is that where all your great ideas come from in your organization? Or do you have a different way that you attract great ideas to that table?
God created this. And I tell a lot of people I was dropped a lot as a young child and under-medicated, and my mind just works in mysterious ways and different things pop in. And then it's a matter of bouncing or vetting them off some others. I joke in my national association within the alarm industry, I've got several folks on my board of directors that don't per se get paid, but I'll reach out and bounce these things off. And even after I got Loud going, I was a few years in and actually said, you know what, I'm bored. I'm going to sell this and move on to something else. And as I started to do that, I realized, well, maybe I'm not so bored, or my greener pasture wasn't as good, because I do come up with all sorts of different ideas, but it's, again, not all of them are the right ones, but my mind's just wired that way.
So do you have an ability to cultivate those ideas and draw them out of other people in your organization?
I'd say I've really got a great sounding board when that idea comes in, then kind of go into a person or two and bounce those off. Even if I'm looking for what the negative, sometimes I'll be like, I think this is good, but what's the drawback? What cannot have this work? Sometimes I'll glean that insight and I'll say, you know what, I'll take that risk now, knowing that's what it is. Because so many people out there will come up with ideas, and when they hear the negative part, they'll let that extinguish those dreams or ideas. And for me, I want to hear the bad so that I can kind of forecast or plan for it or be prepared for it, because I know what the good can be. And that's where I go back to, now my determination is going to outpace that fear of that failure or that defeat or that cost. But I'll cautiously go into it by seeking counsel. That's the R&D.
So what I'm hearing you say is that leaders don't have all the answers.
Oh. Hey, poster child here. Absolutely.
And you got to be willing to ask questions of the right people.
Yeah. Well, but let me clarify one thing. Usually early on, I want to clarify this. So my name is John Loud. I'm the president of Loud Security Systems, and I did not change my last name to start this business. I was born Loud. I've always been Loud. So it's not like, so many times I've had customers through the years, I never knew that was a person's name. And I'm like, yes. And then my parents unfortunately got divorced when I was a young child. And years later, my mom was like, finally a good use for that last name. But as your audience can imagine, you grow up with the last name Loud, there's a lot of fun.
And now, it's got to be a lot of fun for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then years later, they're like, wow, okay, hey, that, I went to college and was a political science major. I don't know how political science and security tie in, but anyway.
Somewhere there's a link.
Yes. Indeed.
But it made you the man you became.
Yeah. Yes. For sure. The education process and the steps along the way, without a doubt.
When you look out in Cobb County, and you have clients in 30 states, so you travel, you're out there, you get to meet people. What do you believe is the biggest challenge facing leaders today?
Biggest challenge facing leaders, I guess I'm thinking of this in a business context. I think the biggest challenge, even aside from the moment in time that we're living right this second, so excluding that, I think the biggest challenge is workforce. It's cultivating the workforce, retaining the workforce. We've got a workforce challenge out there. Even today, look, people are going to open their doors again here soon. And what have you done to make the steps while you're sitting dormant at home relaxing to make sure you've retained that workforce and you can get back to things down the road? But before we even dealt with a COVID-19 type pandemic, the biggest challenge folks have is obtaining, hiring, retaining that workforce. And that's kind of come in training. Compensation is a piece of it, but culture at the end of the day, a leader has got to develop that culture within that corporation, because guess what? A culture is going to be developed. Whether you develop it or you let somebody else develop it, a culture is going to be developed. So as you become that leader to be able to develop with that culture of integrity and trust and all the different factors that are your core values are then going to be able to say, you're going to build that environment. And are folks going to enjoy to work in that environment? How are they going to feel? And then how are they going to treat your customers? Whether your product, services, or goods, whatever your widget is, there still comes back to the core element of the deliverable from that employee that's on your team.
So how did you build culture? Share with our audience, what would be the first step for them to take to actually build that culture of collaboration, for example? Because I know a few people that work with you, for you, the people on your team, and I know that you have a very collaborative type of atmosphere in your organization. How do they build that?
You know, it's interesting that you use collaboration. There's a business owner here in town that I know very well. He does not like collaboration at all. And he has got a business that's been running for years and is very successful. But collaboration is like a bad word to him. The idea of getting to, so it's so interesting that you're right. For me, I'm one to kind of bring in and gather those resources to get that. So let's start way, way back, right? The interesting analogy is when I started to go sell my business, and I did sell about half of the company, some of the assets, some of the subscriber base and everything. And because I was fed up and frustrated with employees, really come down to it. I wasn't getting over that hump. And with the folks that I had, it was just a churn and a non-constant struggle, as well as my mind was thinking of different ideas or opportunities and which way I should go. But when I made that sale, guess what? Now I had some cash. And when I finally decided that my greener pasture wasn't so green, I had different types of money. And let me bridge here. People have got to understand that are listening or watching. The security industry, you lose money to get a customer. So every time you see a yard sign from whether it's ADT or whoever that company is, typically there's a lost revenue. They'll lose anywhere from $400 to $600 to obtain a customer. So when you deal with a growing business, usually you deal with P&L and bottom lines and cash flow and all those wonderful things. But when you say, hey, I just got 10 new customers, well, great, I lost $5,000. Or I invested $5,000, right? But right. It takes the cash flow. And when you're starting from scratch, you don't have much of anything. I started with a $20,000 loan. But to be honest, I was able to pay it back 6 months later and 100% debt free the entire way through until we started doing acquisitions, acquiring some other companies within our industry. But when I did that sale, I had cash. I had cash to say, I've got to find a way to invest in a different type of employee. And I had to finally reach out to have somebody help guide me as to what am I looking for? To me, because I was so scurried and running with taking care of real estate agents and builders and folks that wanted systems faster, the demand, until you folks deal with a growing demand, some folks are like, wow, you got a lot of business. That's not necessarily always good. You've got to have the supply side and the customer care and service to be able to deal with the installation and the monitoring and take care of it all. But for me, the big difference was slowing down a little bit, thinking more diligently about the type of people I want. And the big change for me, I wanted somebody that was so customer care focused that if I could innately see that with them in their care for others, then you know what, to teach them how to install alarm systems or how to deal with the different elements, I knew could come along the way. Whether that became within the administrative arm, the sales arm, or the installation part of it all. And the tough part, though, of growing a business, as I'm that main lead sales guy, look, my name's on the building, right? So the first sales rep I ever hired, that was rather tough because if I gave him 20 lead opportunities, he may have only come home with 6 pieces of paper, signed agreements with new customers, or maybe 8. So you're like, I know I probably would have come home with 18, let's say. So you're dealing with this drop off. But again, it comes back to as you're going to grow a real business and working on the business, not in the business, it's cultivating and coaching that person. Because I know I'm not perfect. Nobody that have working here is perfect. With 10,000 plus customers, and when we do our advertising, my cell phone number is on our website under customer care. And it's a number I'm happy to give out at any time. Because if somebody as a customer of ours has a problem, whether it's billing, installation, something, I'm not looking to get my team in trouble, but I want to kind of know what's going on to be able to support them. Do I need to give more training? What's the element that's going on along the way? Even with my Cobb Chamber role, We had a webinar teaching just the other day with 500 plus folks on there. I said, look, as chairman of the board of directors, here's my cell number. If you're having any challenges in this economy with things that are going on, call me, let us connect you and help you get through that challenge. And we can put those resources together.
So availability is what I'm hearing you say. A leader must be available to their people to continue to grow and to continue to foster the values. That brings me to a values question for you. What are the top values of Loud Security? Not John personally, but Loud Security.
Yeah, certainly honesty, integrity, trust. Those are some of the key core ones that, you got to be honest and straightforward. They're good, bad. Remember, we're dealing with public life safety and security solutions for businesses and residential. To have that integrity when you're going into somebody's home or somebody's business is absolutely vital. You've got to develop that trust because these folks want to be able to sleep at night or walk away from their business to know what they've got set in that vault, because we've done very large name jewelry stores. I mean, there's a vault, right? But sometimes those personal possessions of that child or that baby, and you're dealing with carbon monoxide and fire. I mean, those are some of the straight core ones when you deal with loud security systems.
And those basic values are all attached to customer service, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you think those things first, and you have that customer care element to deal with, I tell people, look, not any day is somebody thinking, man, I can't wait to wake up and call my security company today. So they're calling us because there's a need. Is it a need or a fear? Has something happened in their neighbor community? Has something happened on the news that gives them concern? They're moving into a new environment that says, today's the day I feel like I want to have that protection. So that's a new customer opportunity. But then you got others that are calling in, whether it's billing, service, or trouble. They've got other things to do in their day. So how fast can you alleviate properly, efficiently, but accurately take care of that person to be able to let them on to other things? Because they're not thinking, I sure can't wait to call my security company today.
And everything you're saying applies to pretty much every business, whether it's a healthcare business, whether it's taking your car or an oil change. I mean, all of that matters. And if you lead from that space, you're going to provide support to your team and you will build a stronger business.
Well, in any business world, you realize people want to do business with the people they know, they like, and they trust. Absolutely. So how are you going to connect that relationship, not only at the beginning of the relationship opportunity, but on the ongoing as you continue to earn their trust in their business throughout the years? And whatever that is, whether that's car mechanic service or where am I going to get my gas or where, any type of product or service out there.
So we know that we don't experience that service everywhere. We don't see those values being exhibited everywhere. So from your perspective, what's the one mistake that you witness leaders making more frequently than others?
Let's see, the one mistake, I think it's not giving other people the opportunity to lead. When they do not, it's like I've even said, I've learned this about myself. I tell people, sometimes I think some of the greatest asset that I am to loud security systems today is to know when to get out of the way, is to let those others on your team, mistakes are going to happen. As I said, my cell number is out there because none of us are perfect yet. Somebody could have a bad day or something's going on. So setting proper expectations, but supporting, encouraging, I talk about training at times, right? Companies that get in and don't invest in their people in training. And I try to explain to them, guess what? Your training is costing you money, whether you're providing training or you're not. Because if you provide training and support, and that's going to also build culture within your team to see that you're investing in them. So if you invest in that leadership training aspect to help some folks move the needle down the road. But if you don't invest in that, the quality of your customer care will ultimately prevail and show, as you're going to probably deal with a higher level of turnover or customers that are going to cancel or trade or go find an opportunity with somebody else. They'll have not put that rest of the pieces of the puzzle together to build that foundation to allow you to grow your business.
You shared some super nuggets already. And I guess maybe my last question would be, what are some of the resources that you would recommend to someone looking to gain insight into becoming a leader, like an emerging leader, or a leader that's currently leading and is recognizing that he or she is not getting the results they would like to get? What are some of the resources that you would personally recommend?
Well, I guess this one, just with everything going on lately, is so close to my heart. Two parts, I would think. One is, if you're working within somebody else's business, I would turn to your boss and express that interest, that I have the eagerness to learn more, just so they know what you're looking to do, whether they become a resource and a helpful aid, they can at least know and probably identify that you've taken that upon yourself outside of them or with them. Because most people want to help people. And if you go to your superior in that case, and they're going to have that opportunity to be able to mentor or help you in some ways, you know what? You just made an extra great connection that I think will prevail for you in many ways, never mind the rich resources you may get down the road there too. If it's a business person, then two parts. One is from a local standpoint, I guess one is within your industry. I would say go to your main association, your main industry leader, whatever that is, not the particular company, but the association that gathers all of the like industry folks. And at the same time, I'm going to parallel the things like a Cobb chamber or a business association. Those business entities have leadership opportunities to help you listen and learn, and there are going to be people there that will become ultimately mentors from you. The resources that come to these business entities or these associations are built to reach out to you to help you personally grow or to help your business be able to grow. Because at the end of the day, these business challenges that we all face, they're not unique. Everybody has either faced them before, and they're going to be able to help you through that. So again, whether it's your industry association or through a chamber, there are folks within there that are going to be able to give you that best guidance, and probably at such an affordable cost. You just got to take the time. And what you're exactly doing with the question is having folks think out there, whether you're watching or listening, taking that, what am I going to do with the information from this podcast, this show, or the previous ones that actually make a change? Because how many times do we go to a trade show? Do we go to a training? What are the nuggets we're going to take out? And maybe have some accountability. Ask somebody to be a mentor. You'll be amazed at how often they would be honored to do such that. And they need an accountability partner in some way to say, hey, what did you learn? Here's what I learned. Now, what are you going to do with that information to be able to help you, your team, your business, your community, your church, whatever that is that you want to invest, wherever your passion is. For me, along the way, I kind of get a great chuckle out of it because God's path for me, look, I'm a flight attendant getting all my pilot licenses. I want to be a pilot, right? I want to go fly for Delta or whoever. So I got my single multi-instrument commercial, all my licenses I needed except for my jet engine, and realized that's not my passion. That's not what's the right match for me. Well, then God ended up putting this whole alarm industry, not realizing my last name was going to work out fine for it, but years later now, what I want for everybody out there is for you to find the JOY within your JOB, and you'll be amazed at what the fulfillment of life you're going to have along the way. So wherever that is for you in your community, your church, your business, you want to be able to seek that. And I think through leadership training or mentorship, you're going to be able to find that great match and have a great joy of life.
Well, thank you for that. And my last question to you is, I know that you have given so much time, energy, effort, money, etc., to the Cobb Chamber. What has the Cobb Chamber done for you, and what can it do for people who choose to join?
Funny part, I'll deal with my part first. Because I've got such a great team, one thing that the Chamber allowed me to do is through Leadership Cobb, through honorary commanders, through all the different entities and organizations. Look, the Cobb Chamber has over 400 events a year. So there are many things to do. But as business folks, remember, don't just go get busy. You've got to be very specific in some of that. But I would joke a lot that my team would call some of the chamber leadership and say, hey, would you give John a new project so he can get out of our hair and find something else to do and have him more community engaged in some of those pieces? So that's kind of for me. I get a lot of personal fulfillment because I have such great passion for our community, whether it's the nonprofits, the businesses. So many have helped me through my R&D discussions that I feel so wired and compelled to want to help others along the same way. But what can a chamber do for you? From being in the basement of my home to be able to go to my first office. And one day I was able to afford $85 to go to my first Kennesaw Business Association luncheon. $85 was for the entire year because I didn't have a lot of money. I couldn't afford to go spend hundreds of dollars to be a member of something. Then a year or two later, I was able to join the Ackworth Business Association for $75. Several years later, it was $400 for a signature member for the Cobb Chamber, which today, being the leader of the chamber, I've now got a new rate for $250 that you can actually be a member for 2 employees or less, because I wanted it to be more affordable for small businesses to get in and start to learn about what are these opportunities. So a chamber has government advocacy. We don't have any lobbyists at Loud Security, but when there are different government, local, state, or federal, I've got a chamber that can actually kind of take my issues onto a larger a larger business group that has a bigger voice to be able to. My theme this year in one way is together we can. So together we kind of unite from a chamber to be able to help seek whatever opportunities our community can have for the businesses and nonprofits or schools and education, higher education, workforce development issues. But it's like together we may have challenges such as a pandemic, right? But how can we come together to support and help each other to be able to persevere past these challenges to get to the other side down the road? And I think a chamber is such an amazing resource. There's so many things that a chamber of commerce does, and the Cobb chambers, you know, they're a 5-star top 3% in the entire nation of what they do to bring businesses, to bring jobs to our community. But it's also about quality of life where we live, work, and play, and combined with our Cobb County government to make this such an exceptional place. But the unique thing about Cobb is together, so many folks unite to help with those opportunities or those challenges to help us get to the other side or to obtain those opportunities for the best of what our community is about. So at Cobb Chamber, whatever level somebody can get involved and engaged, and when you see the opportunities that a chamber provides, I think it can help you personally grow as well as professionally grow for your business and for, you know, seeking customers and opportunities out there.
Thank you, John. You have been a fantastic guest. You provided so many, I call them nuggets, like golden nuggets of information that will help our listeners become the leaders that they're destined to be. Thanks for taking time again out of your busy schedule. Really appreciate you, sir.
Well, my one last thing I'd like to share is I'm here to help. And look, as I said to my customers and from the chamber standpoint, I'm John Loud. My cell number, if I can ever help anybody, 678-300-9785 or john@loudsecurity.com. And it's been an honor to be able to be with you today, and wish you all the very best success, and God bless.
Thank you very much, John.